Have you ever seen an internet celebrity turned into a superstar by both the police and the public after committing murder? The woman in the footage was once a Thai internet celebrity, but she was also a ruthless murderer who brutally beat her former best friend to death and dismembered her into 4 pieces. Unlike most despised murderers, after committing the crime, she became a sensation across Thailand due to her stunning looks, hot figure, and luxury lifestyle. The weapon she used in the crime was turned into merchandise and sold out instantly. Admirers even formed fan clubs for her, distorting facts to defend her. Even prison police lined up to take photos with her, and the media gave her the nickname Sweetheart Killer, completely ignoring the victim who was beaten to death, dismembered, and dumped in the wilderness. So why did she kill her best friend? How did she become an internet celebrity? And what is the story behind this case? On May 25, 2017, in a forest in Khao Keng Province, northeastern Thailand, a farmer suddenly detected a foul odor while picking mushrooms. Driven by curiosity, the farmer ventured deeper into the forest and discovered the source of the smell: 3 galvanized steel plates. Compelled by curiosity, the farmer moved the steel plates, and a stench of rotting flesh immediately filled the air. Peering inside, the farmer found a plastic barrel containing 2 black garbage bags. Upon opening the bags, the farmer was shocked to discover that they contained dismembered human remains. The farmer quickly reported the incident to the police, describing the horrifying scene they had just witnessed. Upon arriving at the crime scene and conducting a thorough investigation, the police confirmed that the 2 bags contained the victim's upper torso without arms, as well as the arms and lower body. After piecing together the victim's remains, the forensic examiner confirmed that they belonged to the same female body. They also noted that the victim had been sawed in half at the ribs, with her left arm severed at the elbow. Due to severe decomposition, the victim's face was heavily swollen, making it impossible to identify her original appearance. What made the case even more challenging was that after a meticulous examination of the crime scene, the police discovered that the area had been deliberately cleaned up. They found no clothing or any items that could help identify the victim. But just then, the forensic examiner responsible for further autopsy of the remains brought good news. Given Thailand's tropical climate, with its hot and humid air and year-round temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius, and the fact that the body was discovered in May, the hottest month in Thailand, the examiner deduced that the victim had died just 2 or 3 days prior. Additionally, the examiner discovered a distinctive feature that could help identify the victim: tattoos on her lower body, back, and chest. The tattoo on her left chest was particularly unique, a poppy flower. Based on the patterns and locations of the tattoos, the police speculated that the victims had likely worked in the sex industry. Following this lead, the police began investigating bars, nightclubs, massage parlors, and other similar establishments in Khao Keng Province, with a particular focus on those reporting missing female employee in recent days. Soon, the police had a lead. The owner of a nightclub stated that a hostess named Wilisala Klingdrup had not shown up for work for several days. She had not taken leave, and her phone calls went unanswered. The police then compared the Wilisala's DNA with the victim's and confirmed that the missing Wilisala was indeed the victim. At the police request, the nightclub owner retrieved the surveillance footage of Wilisala's last appearance at the club. The footage showed that in the early hours of May 23, 2 days early, Wilisala left the nightclub and got into a car with 2 unfamiliar women standing at the entrance. The nightclub owner confirmed that these 2 women were not employees of the establishment. Seeing this, the police asked the nightclub owner if Wilisala had been involved in any conflicts at the club. However, The owner stated that she had only recently started working here and got along well with other staff. There had been no arguments or conflicts with anyone, and the other employees' accounts matched the owner's. The police then began investigating the car that had taken her away. Unfortunately, since the surveillance footage did not capture a clear license plate number, the police could only attempt to trace the vehicle through Thailand's ride-hailing app, Grab. Sadly, the car did not appear to be registered on Grab. With no leads from the car, the police shifted their focus to Willie Sala's social connections, given that she had voluntarily entered the car and seemed familiar with the two women. After some investigation, the police gathered specific information about the victim. Willie Sala, 23 years old, had married a man named Sekchai Batondi, a 35-year-old who worked at a construction company in Bangkok a few months earlier in early 2017. However, after their marriage, Willie Sala had an affair with a woman. Sekchai had found out and had arguments with her over it. With this information, could it be possible that Sekchai had killed his wife out of revenge for her infidelity? The police listed Sekchai as a prime suspect and summoned him to the station for questioning. When Sekchai learned from the police that his wife was dead and that he was suspected of her murder, he became extremely emotional, insisting that he was not the killer. He claimed that he had always been the deceived one. Before the police contacted him, he had believed his wife worked as a restaurant server. It was only after the police approached him that he discovered she had been working as a hostess and engaging in sex work. Moreover, Sekchai had a solid alibi for the days of Willie Sala's disappearance. He had been on a business trip out of town during that time, and his colleagues could verify his account. As for the frequent arguments with his wife over her affair, Sekchai explained that when they first started dating, Willie Sala had told him she lived in the countryside with her mother and grandmother and often helped with farm work. Even after they married, she would return to the countryside to assist the elderly. At the time, Sekchai didn't think much of it. On the contrary, he believed Willie Sala's behavior demonstrated her filial piety, which aligned perfectly with his ideal image of a wife. After dating for a while, Sekchai married her. However, shortly after the wedding, Sekchai began to noticing something was off with his wife. He discovered that every time she claimed to be returning to the countryside to visit her mother and grandmother, she never actually went. Instead, she spent the night at her female lover's place. Moreover, during their relationship, he had been living with her lover the entire time. At this point, Sekchai admitted that he had been furious when he first discovered the affair. He had used it as an excuse to argue with his wife several times and had even shouted in anger, "I will kill you both." However, he insisted that it was just an outburst in the heat of the moment and that he had never actually harmed his wife. After obtaining solid alibi evidence from Sekchai's colleague, the police ruled him out as a suspect. However, based on Sekchai's account, they now had a new suspect, Willie Sala's female lover. The police located the lover and brought her in for questioning. Under interrogation, the lover confessed to her relationship with Willie Sala. It turned out that the lover and Willie Sala had been classmates but had lost contact for a long time. One day, while visiting a karaoke bar, the lover unexpectedly discovered that Willie Sala was working there as a sex worker, primarily serving female clients. After that meeting, the two reconnected and, through increasing interactions, developed feelings for each other. After opening up their hearts, they officially entered into a romantic relationship. The lover recalled that she had also lost contact with Willie Sala for several days prior to this. However, when she tried to reach out to her family and friends to inquire about her whereabouts, they all claimed not to know. Later, as if to prove the truth of her statements, the lover not only provided the police with the chat records from her relationship with Willie Sala, but also submitted a police report she had filed at another precinct regarding Willie Sala's disappearance. After verifying the authenticity of these records, the police also ruled out the lover as a suspect. However, apart from these two individuals, The police had no other leads to pursue. Just as the police were struggling with the case, an offhand remark by an officer unexpectedly led to a breakthrough. Following this clue, the police managed to trace and identify the real killer of Willie Sala. As mentioned earlier, Willie Sala had only recently started working at the nightclub where she was employed before her death. One of the police officers investigating her case also recalled this detail and pointed out that the police had overlooked a crucial location, the previous nightclub where Willie Sala had worked. Upon hearing this, the other officers had a sudden realization and immediately went to investigate the nightclub where Willie Sala had previously worked. After questioning several staff members about whether Willie Sala had been involved in any conflicts during her time there, the police finally obtained useful information from a long-serving waitress. The waitress revealed that Willie Sala had indeed been in a conflict with someone at the nightclub, even getting into a physical fight. This person was also a hostess at the club and Willie Sala's former best friend, with whom she had since had a falling out. Her name was Priyanu Nongwanchai. Upon learning about a conflict between Willie Sala and Priyanu, the police became more vigilant and pressed the waitress for information on Priyanu's whereabouts. However, the waitress said she didn't know, as Priyanu, although still employed at the club, hadn't showed up for work in a long time. The nightclub owner had tried calling her, but she didn't answer, and she hadn't even collected her salary for the previous months. By examining her phone records, she had maintained frequent contact with 3 other phone numbers. Notably, one of these calls had lasted as long as an hour. Based on the earlier investigation findings, Willie Sala's conflict and physical altercation with Priyanu, the overlapping timeline of Willie Sala's disappearance and death with Priyanu's disappearance, and the fact that Priyanu's deliberately ignored calls from others while maintaining frequent contact with 3 unknown numbers, the police concluded that Priyanu was a prime suspect in the case. After reaching this conclusion, the police decided to use GPS to locate Priyanu's phone signal and determine her current whereabouts. Unfortunately, they were unable to track her phone. As a result, the police turned their attention to the 3 suspicious numbers that had been in close contact with Priyanu. The numbers were found to belong to 2 women and 1 man: 28-year-old Kawita Rachada, 25-year-old Apiwan Sadia Bandit, and 22-year-old Wasim Namprum. Like Priyanu's phone, Kawita's and Apiwan's phones could not be located. However, when attempting to track Wasim's phone, the police made an unexpected discovery. His phone signal appeared at a small hotel near the Myanmar border in Khao Keng province. On May 30, 2017, 5 days after Willie Sala's body was discovered, the police arrested Wasim at the hotel. His 21-year-old girlfriend, Jidard Promquin, was also taken into custody. After being brought to the police station, Wasim confessed to his involvement in the crime, but insisted that he had not killed Willie Sala. He had only assisted Priyanu in disposing of the body. Wasim also stated that he didn't know why Priyanu had killed Willie Sala. According to him, Priyanu had told him that she wanted to teach a woman a lesson and that he was to play the role of a high-paying client in her plan. Wasim then rented a second-hand Honda CRV from an unlicensed car dealer and, as a loyal friend, drove to the nightclub as Priyanu had instructed. Meanwhile, Priyanu called her friends Kawita and Apiwan, asking them to lure Willie Sala out, but claiming that a high-paying client was looking for a hostess. The pay was substantial, but they were short one person and needed Willie Sala's help. After picking up the 3 women and driving away from the nightclub, Kawita and Apiwan tightly restrained Willie Sala, rendering her immobile. Then, Priyanu, who had been hiding in the back seat, emerged and began beating Willie Sala. After a while, she used a plastic bag to cover Willie Sala's head. After that, Priyanu continued to viciously beat Willie Sala. During this process, Willie Sala struggled, but she was no match for 4 adults. After a desperate struggle, she fell silent. When Priyanu and the others realized something was wrong, they ripped off the plastic bag from Willie Sala's head and found that she was already dead. Upon discovering Willie Sala's death, the 3 accomplices, Kawita, Apiwan, and Wasim, panicked. They had only intended to help Priyanu teach Willie Sala a lesson and never imagined it would lead to death. Priyanu remained remarkably calm and discussed with them how to dispose of Willie Sala's body. After a discussion, the 4 came up with a plan. First, they went to a small hardware store to buy a saw. Then, they purchased a plastic barrel, garbage bags, gloves, and other tools from another store. After completing the preparation, they checked into a nearby hotel room. It was in this room that Priyanu, Kawita, and Apiwan dismembered Willie Sala's body. Afterward, they cleaned up the site, showered, and even applied makeup. During this time, Priyanu instructed Wasim to move the body parts to the car. Once Priyanu checked out of the hotel, the 4 of them buried the remains in a forest. To conceal the burial site, they specifically went back to the hardware store to buy a steel plate and place it over the grave. After completing all this, Priyanu suggested that she, Kawita, and Apiwan should leave Khao Keng province to lay low. The very next day, after disposing of the body, on May 24, Priyanu, Kawita, and Apiwan boarded an unlicensed bus heading to northwestern Myanmar. Meanwhile, Wasim stayed behind in Thailand with his girlfriend, Jedart, to pawn Willie Sala's valuables, including her phone and jewelry. Later, the 2 also fled to the border area between Thailand and Myanmar, where they rented a cheap hotel room to live in. With the help of Wasim's confession, the police immediately issued arrest warrants for 3 of them. Given the heinous nature of the crime, the police also had the case broadcast on television news programs, urging citizens with information about the 3 suspects to come forward. Even Priyanu's sister appeared on the news program, publicly urging her sister to return to Thailand and surrender to the authorities. As the case gained exposure, Priyanu's social media accounts and past experience were dug up by netizens and made public. Priyanu, standing at 165 centimeters tall and weighing 55 kilograms, was born in 1992 in a rural village in Khao Keng province, northeastern Thailand. Her parents were also farmers. Priyanu's hometown, located near the borders of Laos and Cambodia, was extremely impoverished and plagued by crime. Some reports about Khao Keng even claim that many men in the village underwent sex change operations to become ladyboys in pursuit of money. Like many others, Priyanu dropped out of school early to escape poverty and her identity as a farmer. She began working at nightclubs, where Thailand's thriving service industry, especially the gray area sex trade, offered quick money with minimal upfront costs. Priyanu worked as a hostess and provided sexual service to foreign tourists and wealthy clients, earning a decent income. After saving up, Priyanu used her earnings to undergo plastic surgery, which gave her more exotic facial features. Following her transformation, her popularity boosted, and she gradually became the signature of the nightclub. At this point, Priyanu opened a social media account and began posting provocative selfies. Many tourists, drawn by her photos, specifically requested her company, rapidly increasing her value. She could earn 5,000 Thai baht just by accompanying a single client. After experiencing the benefits of the internet, Priyanu, dissatisfied with merely earning money through sex work, she developed a new way to make money: hosting adult live streams online. With her previous fame as a plus, Priyanu's live streaming career was highly successful, and her daily views was impressive. While thriving in her career, Priyanu's love life was also progressing. She fell in love with a member of Thai gang who frequently visited the nightclub where she worked. Over time, the two began a relationship. In addition to being a gang member, the man was also involved in illegal drug trafficking. After the relationship began, he often enlisted Priyanu as intermediary, having buyers conducting drug transactions at the nightclub where she worked. Influenced by her boyfriend, Priyanu began participating in smuggling drugs from the Golden Triangle into Thailand, profiting from the trade. After amassing wealth through drug trafficking, Priyanu shed her internet celebrity image and began openly flaunting her riches on social media. She posted photos of herself wearing designers' clothes, using expensive cosmetics, and carrying luxury bags such as YSL handbags, Gucci shoes, and Fendi t-shirts. Beyond showcasing her possessions, she also flaunted cash, posing with stacks of Thai baht. In addition to her displays of wealth, Priyanu even uploaded a video to Facebook showing her scattering white powder in the nightclub. The powder appeared to resemble illegal drugs. Perhaps driven by curiosity or admiration for her wealth, Priyanu's Facebook account quickly gained more and more followers. In just a short time, she became an internet celebrity and transitioned into a beauty blogger, teaching makeup tutorials on Facebook. However, after Priyanu's sudden rise to fame, her past as an internet celebrity in the adult industry was exposed. Someone uploaded her old videos of sex work on Facebook. Strangely, these videos did not negatively impact her online career. Instead, her follower grew even more. However, the police could not find any clear motive for why Priyanu killed Willie Sala from these revelations. Perhaps all the mysterious would only be explained once Priyanu was captured. Fortunately, that day arrived quickly. On June 3, 2017, a Thai in Myanmar made a tip-off call to the police, reporting that he had just seen Priyanu shopping for clothes in a town called Tachlik near the Myanmar border. With this assistance of Thai authorities, the Myanmar police immediately reviewed nearby surveillance footage and arrested Priyanu, Kawita, and Apiwan on charges of illegal entry, as their border passes issued on May 25th had expired after the 7-day validity period. The three were then deported back to Thailand. After returning to Thailand, Priyanu calmly admitted to killing Willie Sala, stating that she was the mastermind and the other two had only assisted her. Under police interrogation, Priyanu revealed her motive for the murder. Though she initially insisted, "I just want to teach her a lesson," her death was an accident. It turned out that after Priyanu became famous, Willie Sala, who was still her best friend at the time, jealous and driven by envy, Willie Sala refused to repay the 40,000 Thai baht she had borrowed from Priyanu. Later, she borrowed an additional 1,500 baht when Priyanu confronted her about the debt. Willie Sala not only refused to repay, but also spread rumors about Priyanu's being petty. This led to a heated arguments and ultimately their falling out. After the fallouts, Willie Sala often badmouthed Priyanu behind her back, calling her a plastic surgery face. These seemingly minor but accumulating tensions came to a head 2 months before the incident. During this time, Thai authorities intensified their crackdown on illegal drugs. Priyanu's boyfriend, who was involved in drug trafficking, was arrested. After her boyfriend's arrest, Priyanu became convinced that Willie Sala had tipped off the police. As only Willie Sala, Kawita, Apiwan, and Wasim knew about her involvement in drug smuggling. Since the three of them would not betray her, Priyanu believed Willie Sala, who had already turned against her, was the informant. Consumed by anger and fear, Priyanu worried that Willie Sala would report her to the police for assisting in drug smuggling. She decided to teach Willie Sala a lesson. However, the situation escalated into an accident during the confrontation. Fearing exposure, Priyanu, along with Kawita and Apiwa, fled to Myanmar. Prianu also told the police that after arriving in Myanmar, they first showed nude photos of themselves to the manager of a massage parlor, hoping to secure employment. However, before receiving a response from the massage parlor, they worked at a local karaoke bar offering sexual service for 2 nights, entertaining several clients. Later, as news of their arrest warrants continued to broadcast on television, they had to quit their jobs at the karaoke bar and fled to a village in Tachilik. After learning the full details of the case, the Thai police detained Prianu, Kawita, and Apiwan on charges of murder, concealment of a corpse, and theft. Due to the heinous nature of the crime, the 3 were denied bail before the trial. However, strange events followed one after another. Instead of being treated as criminals, the 3 lived comfortably in detention. Moreover, under the influence of public opinion, a bizarre phenomenon of idolizing Prianu for her crime began to emerge. After Prianu and the other 2 entered prison, they were still able to use their phones. Even more outrageous was the fact that despite being criminal suspects, they were treated like princes in prison. Police officers not only chatted, joked, and took photos with them, but also provided them with snacks, cigarettes, and drinks. They didn't sleep in prison cells, but instead lay under blankets wearing masks, as if they were on a camping trip. Not only that, the 3 even used their phones to upload photos on social media of themselves wearing face masks and posing with police officers. Without context, one might mistake them for some kind of mafia bosses rather than criminals awaiting legal punishments. Moreover, before media interviews and court appearance, the 3 put on makeup. Instead of stopping this behavior, the police chief defended them, stating that it was reasonable to wear makeup before interviews, even though it was based on the fact that they had killed someone. Due to Prianu's stunning looks and hot figure, she transformed from an evil murderer into an internet celebrity under the extensive coverage of local media. Within 2 weeks, she made headlines in Thai newspapers and TV. The media even gave her the nickname Sweetheart Killer. The 90s-style horror-themed outfit she wore became a sold-out item in Thailand. The bag she carried became a viral online product, and merchandise like dolls and pillows resembling her became bestsellers. Even the saw she used in the crime was turned into keychains and other accessories by some business. To make matters worse, Facebook and Twitter had the Prianu supporter pages, and some even formed a Support Prianu's Innocence fan club. They claimed that the deceased Willie Sala was a person with a chaotic private life and poor character, while the innocent, kind, and self-reliant Prianu was forced into crime by Willie Sala. Therefore, they argue, Willie Sala was not the victim, Prianu was. Despite the overwhelming public opinion, the law remained impartial and delivered justice for the innocent Willie Sala. On May 11, 2018, Prianu was sentenced to 127 years in prison for murder and concealment of a corpse. However, due to her active confession, her sentence was reduced to 34 years and 6 months. Kawita and Apiwan were sentenced to 33 years and 9 months, while Wasim received a sentence of 23 years, 4 months, and 20 days. Wasim's girlfriend, Jadaret, was sentenced to 1 year in prison for theft and selling the victim's phone. Regarding the public's adoration of Prianus despite her crimes, a cartoon sharply satirized this absurd murder case. The cartoon depicted the starkly different treatment received by a beautiful woman and an ugly woman after committing murder and dismemberment. The beautiful woman was idolized, while the ugly woman was judged and despised by the public. Regarding this incident, a Thai psychologist directly labeled it as the Prianu vibe. The psychologist argued that this is an extremely unhealthy phenomenon, where people's moral compass and the boundaries between good and evil become blurred. In this phenomenon, the public focuses solely on Priyanu's attractive appearance, hot figures, and luxury lifestyle, ignoring her heinous crimes and even idolizing her. This is a symptom of the current era, where entertainment often overshadows morality. To prevent such incidents from recurring in the future, mainstream media should take the lead in clearly distinguishing criminals from idols. Criminals are not idols, and they're not worthy of being followed or admired. This is Charles, bringing you crime story analysis. If you like this channel, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button. Have a case you want me to dig in and share, leave a message on the comment section, and I will see you next time.